Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to For the Record, the only show that gets no views, but I still love it, so we're going to keep doing it. Today we have 4 great records to talk about. For every record shown, there will be background music, there will be tracks from the albums. And boys, up first today on the show is Bleach by Nirvana. Their first studio record. Absolute banger. One of my favorite albums. Nirvana is obviously one of my favorite bands of all time, and this is just, it's so raw, it's so, undone. It's very much more, I should say, metal than a lot of Nirvana's later works, where it tends to go more grungy. And here's the sleeve here, very cool sleeve, very simple thing there. And then of course the vinyl is just pure black with some cool little artwork on the inside there. Very much reminds me of more this 90s hardcore kind of stuff than many of their other works, but just such a great album. I really would highly recommend it. Definitely need to clean this one off a little bit, but definite favorite song from this album. It's hard to choose because there's so many good songs. I really would recommend listening to this one, especially if you are into more hard rock and such. But for me, I would have to say that the best song, Love Buzz is really good, Paper Cuts, probably one of those two. Both some really, really good songs. Side A for this record is definitely so strong. Side B is also really strong, but I do think that Side A is definitely my more favorite side there. I would really highly recommend you guys give it a listen, especially if you like later Nirvana works and just haven't tuned into their earlier stuff, because I believe their earlier stuff is definitely super underplayed and underrepresented, especially by radio and stuff. But that is Bleach by Nirvana. Really check it out. Great album. For our next album here, boys, we are slowing it down with Hozier's self-titled album here. Now, of course, you probably will know his most popular song, Take Me to Church, was played everywhere, absolutely everywhere. It was very, very popular, to say the least. But I would actually say that's one of the weaker songs on this album. There are so many good songs on here, and it's a shame that was the one that got all of the recognition, when we've got songs like Real People Do or Work Song there, absolute bangers that definitely get underrepresented. Now, I love this particular album because when you open it up, you've got this absolutely beautiful painting here almost. And I don't know, it's really pretty to display. We personally display it just like this, hung up on the wall. Then of course for the sleeves, you do have the songs and all their lyrics. And then the sleeves also make a bit of a painting as well. I'll show you that just in a second here. The albums are pretty simple, but I don't know, I really like it. It's very pretty, especially spinning. And there's that other side there. Now, while I'm getting out disc number 2 here with sides C and D, I would say that my favorite song would have to be, probably Work Song. It is just so good. There's that second sleeve there, just more lyrics and song titles obviously, and then still very, very beautiful, and we've got some thank yous and stuff like that in the corner there. And then on this side, you've of course got there, and in my opinion the prettier of the two, but still very, very cool. I would say that this is such a raw, and it's a very, very, very emotional album. I'd really, really highly recommend it for those feels times, and very lovey-dovey, and actually very very religious as well. I'd really, really highly recommend giving this one a try. Take Me to Church is always a good one, but I would really highly recommend Work Song and Like Real People Do as well. For first listening, Cherry Wine is also really good. That's Hozier's self-titled, and yeah, check it out. Alright boys, next up we have got a certified hood classic if you were an emo kid in the later 2000s. We have got here My Chemical Romance, 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. Of course, the album art is very pretty, and on the backside here, pretty basic, but still pretty cool. This album, my gosh, probably defined an entire generation of emo kids. Inside we've got pictures of the band members here, I should say, and then bunch of thank you and stuff. Then on the back here we've got the track list with lyrics. Now this album was certainly not underrated or anything. I'm so dumb. It was very much played, but I almost think that it lives in the shadow of its successor, the Black Parade. But I would say that this is the better album. I mean, absolutely every song on here is just a banger. Not to say the Black Parade is bad in any way. Pretty basic album art, unfortunately. But gosh, I mean, you know what they do to guys like us in prison. I'm Not Okay, The Ghost of You. I mean, these are just songs that literally defined a generation of emo kids, and I mean, frankly, just of music in general. And I mean, I'm hoping they come back pretty soon, drop their maybe last album on us. They were, of course, getting together before Corona, but I guess we will have to see on that one. This one, I mean, I guess I don't really have a ton to say about, but I mean, it's a fantastic album. I'd really highly recommend giving it a listen through if you haven't already, which, I mean, if you haven't heard of Three Cheers, then maybe it's just not your type of music, but yeah, I'd highly recommend it if you like that kind of emo stuff. Alrighty boys, last up, you didn't think you'd get out without a Hail the Sun. We have Wake by Hail the Sun. The fundamental best album of my life. This is absolutely, without a doubt, my favorite album ever made. Very cool album art on this side, and on the back here we do have the real album art. Very, very cool. I actually do have this album art hanging up on my wall as well, and I do display this record. This is just seriously one of the most underrated records, in my opinion, of our time. This record, I would say, is almost best heard as a whole. If you listen to every song back to back to back, it really, like, most of the songs just blend into each other. They're just so good all together. I would say that my favorite song, it really, like, changes every week. I listen to this album, like, almost every day. This dropped back in 2014. Favorite song would have to be, I guess, Anti-Eulogy, and then in parentheses, I Hope You Stay Dead, which will probably be the one playing after this. Hail the Sun is, of course, if you watched my last video, a post-hardcore band from California. They dropped one record and one EP before this, and then they really just dropped an absolute insanely banger album. Seriously, I mean, I know I've been saying this for all these albums, but if there's a takeaway, one that I just want you to listen to, it would be Wake by Hail the Sun. Every single song's so good. If you want more of a slow listen, I would recommend Relax/Divide. And really, a lot of these songs do go pretty hard, so if you're not into post-hardcore or, you know, emo music or stuff like that, I guess it just isn't your style. But seriously, I mean, I'd recommend trying this one. Listen to at least like the first 3 tracks back to back to back. I think that they're usually enough to sell people, and I don't know, I really recommend them. But if you don't want to, I understand. They are a little bit hard to get into. Anyway, boys, at the end of this video, I do want to say that I want your music recommendations. Please, please, please give them to me in the comments. I'm always looking for new music to listen to, especially if they're anything like the music I showed off here today. I would really appreciate it. Of course, if you did enjoy this video, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. I know that these videos don't particularly get pushed a ton because I'm a Pokemon channel, but I really do like making these, so it doesn't particularly matter how many views I get, but I would, you know, I would like some more. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video, which will probably be another Pokemon video, but we'll have to see. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.